Why is emotional intelligence important? The expectation and a preference and the perception that you have within your mind. When you look at those things, there's some magic that occurs in your brain. It's your right ventral lateral prefrontal cortex and your medial prefrontal cortex to send a signal back to your limbic system to say, hey, shut off what it is that you're sending me. Shut off the negative energy that you're sending up here, the negative emotion. Now, there's a reason that we need that circuit. And it's connected with survival. Your brain's your organ of survival, right? You got to remember that. When you walk by a coil on the ground over here, let's say, and you, out of the corner of your eye, you see the coil on the ground, and immediately your limbic system is going to assume, oh, shit, that's a snake. We need to run, right? That's a life-threatening situation. So you get the fear dump, you get the adrenaline dump, you get the preparation for fight or flight, and then you look down to get a better perspective. Which way do I need to run? Which way is his head pointed? And you see that the coil on the ground is a hose. So a moment ago, your body was preparing for fight or flight and was dumping a ton of energy into your system to be able to get you away from the threat. And now that process is wasting resources, because now where the snake was just a second ago, a hose exists. You misread the situation. So now your brain needs a way to immediately resolve the negative emotion that is occurring in your system, because it is now wasting resources that can save your life 100 yards down the road if a bear walks out of the woods in front of you. So there is a circuit for that. Well, it just so happens that that circuit was identified in 2007 at UCLA through some name it, tame it studies, where they put some people through an fMRI and they said, okay, we're going to show you these pictures that are emotionally charged, and because of your mirror neurons, you're going to be able to feel a little bit of the fear, sadness, worry, regret, whatever it is that you're seeing on your pictures or hearing in your audio. And we just want to watch your brain. And they did that for the first group. They gave them the emotional stimuli and watched the brain, and it showed up exactly what they expected it to be. What happened next, though, was what made history. They told the next group, okay, we're going to put you through the same exact study that we just put this first group through, but we want you to name the emotion in play. Just name it. Just, if you see sadness, say sadness. If you see anger, say anger. And in real time on the fMRI, they didn't even have to wait for the data analysis. They could see the amygdala and the limbic system shutting off in real time after you put an understanding of what's going on to the emotional charge in front of you. And what was doing was firing that name it, tame it circuit to say, okay, we understand what's going on up here, which is what happens when you look down and you see the hose. You say, hey, Mr. Emotional Brain, we're good. We understand you thought it was a hose. It's not necessarily a hose. We don't need all this fear. Shut it off immediately. And guess what? It shuts off immediately. You have immediate control of shutting off your emotional processing because you don't need it. Well, the same thing occurs when you start to look at and understand, you put a cognitive process to your emotional reactions, when you start to look at your expectation or preference and you start to look to identify your perception and say, what was my expectation and or preference regarding this situation? What was my perception regarding this situation? That processing fires that same name it, tame it circuit to shut off your limbic system, and your negativity shuts off in real time. You can hack this. This is huge. This is taking charge of your acute emotions in a moment of stress where you need a little bit more clarity. And I'm writing a story right now in my new book about how this happened with my son, who disappeared for 20 minutes, 30 minutes almost, at his school when he was in second grade. When I went to pick him up, he was gone. Nobody knew where he was. He wasn't supposed to be gone. Nobody picked him up. His mom was in Las Vegas, so I knew she didn't pick him up. She was at a conference. She was calling all around to all the other parents. I have a readout of my heart rate thanks to my Apple Watch. I'm putting it in the book. My heart rate never went above 74, even though I should have been panicked. Why? Because I actively took control of my mind, knowing that if I go into panic, I'm going to lose 10 to 20 IQ points off the top, and I need those right now to find my son. I am going to be the most motivated individual of all the people who are looking for him at the moment to be able to find him and think through the solution on being able to identify where he is. And long story short, It turned out great. He just went to a running club that he wasn't supposed to go to, that he just decided to skip his after school class and go to a running club, which is crazy, but nobody knew where he was. And when they took attendance, they didn't call for the names hey, anybody show up who I didn't call, right? They didn't do that. So he was off in the corner of the campus running with third graders and up. He wasn't even supposed to be there. But I didn't freak out. Why? Because I'd conditioned my mind not to freak out, because plasticity can help you do this stronger and stronger over time. 2, you can do it mindfully when you're about to panic or you're about to go into an emotional situation. And this can apply for absolutely anything. When you're about to make a major trade on the stock market or in crypto or in one of your investments, and it's an emotional trade and you need to think it through a little bit more, this is where people lose money, is when they start letting their emotions dictate their trading habits, right? You don't want to fall into that trap. You want to make very conscious, responsible, logical trades on any of your investments or any of your business deals. You don't want to make an investment based on an emotional decision, right? So you can take control of any emotional process at any point that you want to by using this same type of hijack of your name it, tame it circuits to turn off your negativity or your negative reactions, to clear your mind and ensure that you don't lose your 10 to 20 IQ points when your emotions start firing. Because the first thing that your limbic system does when it starts to panic is it turns off your prefrontal cortex, and you lose 10 to 20 IQ points off the top. You don't want that to occur. So that's the magic behind understanding the 2 variables that I just gave you. You will not be able to unsee those things for the rest of your life. And if you use that tactic, you will be able to control your subconscious emotion reactions much better. And over time, plasticity, just like learning how to play the piano better, learning how to shoot a basketball better, learning how to do whatever it is that you do better automatically over time, plasticity will change your brain in form and function to help you do it more automatically, to where you won't have to consciously think your way through deconstructing your emotion and taking back control of your mind. It will happen automatically for you, which is amazing.